Alright, what is up everybody? We are getting into Premier Division Group A Week 1. We've got Tatanka versus Kaktus here. It's going to be a best of 5. Let's hop into these matches. Alright, spawning up top we got Tatanka. And in the bottom, Kaktus. Kaktus with that same deck, so he's got some confidence in it here. I mean, maybe this is what he's practiced. He feels like is good to answer the meta or reflect on his own personal playstyle. And Tatanka here, interesting, no moles, but the rest of the deck looks very, very meta. I think if you just replace Lizard with moles, this is a great ladder deck. I mean, understanding how to use mines can be very good. I always love to see players who are very strong with mines, like QQ or something. It's something that I should really practice, because they make a very, very big difference. And the mines might also help out the fact that Tatanka doesn't have moles. So, against the big mole push. But we do have Squirrel Toad versus Squirrel Lizard, which, if you look at the textbook of Tooth and Tail, Squirrel Toad is supposed to be better. But we'll see how it actually happens in play. Overall, though, I think I don't see any kind of just massive deck advantages here. I think the Fox is going to do very good against Tatanka's deck if we get to a late game situation. Fox hard counters a Falcon. It does pretty decently against the Chameleon and can really destroy the boar if you get the right shots off. Sometimes that's easier said than done, though, because you kind of want to pull back with your Fox to micro instead of moving forward to target, because the number one concern with your Fox is typically trying to keep it alive since it's so squishy. And sometimes they'll just take like pop shots at the squirrels or something, which really isn't what you're looking for when there's a big bad boar about to knock on your door. Double cam coming up from Tatanka. Did Kaktus see it? He has, so he knows what's going on. Pretty big map here. Neither player really looking to get aggressive right off the get-go. Awkward bases on this map, to be honest. Like, what should Kaktus take for his natural? I mean, there's no ramp to get to this guy. I mean, maybe if this wasn't blocked off, he needs to get some of his squirrels to move those barrels out of the way. I'm joking, you can't do that. But yeah, I mean, this is rough for Kaktus. I feel like some of the map gen for Kaktus so far has been pretty subpar. Sometimes that happens, though. That's the nature of the game, and you got to figure out ways to overcome it. Going up to 6 camps here is Kaktus, so we might be considering just going for a big one-base style. I mean, maybe Kaktus can take this as a natural, but I'm sure Kaktus is probably pretty... Yeah, Tatanka's going to check that right now, because that probably looks like the best spot for an expansion. But I think Kaktus is probably pretty happy that Tatanka hasn't expanded, right? You know, on this kind of awkward map, I'm sure Kaktus is fine playing one-base style. Tatanka really getting in positions to try to be a gamer with these chameleons here, but no, gonna bring him home. And now the Falcons are here to help abuse this. Is he going to have range? Yep, he should. Yeah, I was going to say if you move it all the way up. Needs to be careful, though. Kaktus, his armory's pretty good here. He needs that second Falcon, I think, though, is the issue. Or these squirrels need to really take that Falcon down. He does get it, so only one Falcon remains here for Tatanka. Kaktus does have the chameleon advantage, so he's going to be able to clean up the ground. And Kaktus wins this fight pretty handily. How far is Kaktus going to take this counterattack, though? Look at that trade for Kaktus. Those hero squirrels in the back for Kaktus, man. Barely finishing off that cam. This is always tough. Attacking into the main can be pretty risky, but, I mean, what's Kaktus's options? There's no natural or anything. That mine doesn't get a whole lot there. But the Falcons are in the air for Tatanka, and Kaktus has nothing on the ground outside of a couple squirrels trickling in to deal with this. He's still going to be able to try to keep the chameleon count low for Tatanka. Good micro from Tatanka there, keeping that cam alive. And the cams get cleaned up for Kaktus. What a game. Tatanka coming back. Can he get that hit on the... Oh! Keeps that chameleon alive. Okay. Whew. So I think that next trade was a little bit better for Tatanka. But keep in mind these farm kills are actually pretty important. This is what's going to matter, though. We're about at that 5-minute mark. So were these starting farms? Judging by the amount of wheat left over, I'd say they were. And if they're starting farms, it's not as bad for Tatanka, because he's still going to have 4 left right here in a second. Let's see. Yeah, so those were starting farms. So that's nice, because if they weren't, then Tatanka would be down to 2 farms right now. Some expansions coming up from both sides, actually opposite. That's hilarious. So both sides are going to clean up these other weird grist mills. I think Kaktus wanted this forward one to throw down some turrets, which could be pretty nice. Turrets have good DPS if you can protect them. Interesting, though. Kaktus is going for pure squirrel cam. Going to try to use the squirrels to target down the falcons. But the falcons just have way too much DPS. Tatanka actually teched completely out of cams. Ooh, oh my god, Tatanka. What a 5-head. Dude. I missed that falcon transition. Very smart from Tatanka. Then also to have this minefield right here. Oh my god, is Tatanka going to win this? 7 falcons. You really can't do a whole lot about that. At least not with what Kaktus is fielding at the moment. Just not enough squirrels to really... I think that, yeah, he's got to go for the base race, right? I think it's too late, though. I think Kaktus needed to keep, like, juggling his army up north, and yeah, that's going to be game. But what a game. I think there was an opportunity there for Kaktus to win, but Tatanka with some really quick, really smart decision-making there to switch into the Falcons. He had some good micro on that follow-up engagement to keep some cams alive. But the Falcon minefield switch from Tatanka was what won that game. So, nicely done. Would love to see Kaktus get a point on the board here. I mean, to be fair, going up against Heirloom and Tatanka, that's rough, man, but this is Premier Division. That's what it's all about. In theory, there shouldn't be easy players to beat in Premier, right? I feel like if you're in Premier League every week, when you look at your matchups, you should be like, man, I gotta go up against them. They're so good. All right, Tatanka changing up the deck here. Got a little bit more of a siege approach on the way. Gonna be interested to see if he can actually pull it off. It's always fun to watch ferrets and defenses kind of try to shell stuff down. We need more toads, though. I know, man. I agree. I agree. And Kaktus does have the toads in the deck. No moles this game. No moles and only one player with chameleons. How would Tatanka actually really do this? Well, I mean, this natural's obviously great for Tatanka. Maybe, yeah, he just throws down some defense here in the center and shells the main. Kaktus does have a nice map gen, though, of just a natural here and a third there. This mill is probably irrelevant. Maybe one of the players tries to take it to expand their territory for defenses, but I think that mill is probably too risky to put any pigs on. And the rest of the map irrelevant unless Kaktus chooses to grab that cabin at some point. Actually, grabbing this cabin in the early game would be very good, especially if it was kind of like a 1 base versus 1 base. Because 9 farms to 8 farms, I mean, that's a huge, it's like a 12% increase on your economy. That's a very big deal. But it does not look like it's going to be a prolonged 1 base match. Tatanka already getting into that natural expansion. Yeah, we're just going to have to see what the players decide to do from here. So far, no major decisions have been made. I guess you could comment that Kaktus is on 4 tier 1, which is a pretty big commitment. Going up to number 5 here. And Tatanka's aware of this. Actually, Tatanka did not scout that 5th Warren. So is Kaktus looking to get aggressive again? Again, when you do a move like this, I mean, you need to really, like, Kaktus really needs to get damage done with this. It's not good enough to just take a trade, because Tatanka's got the economic advantage. You know, he's got to take the better trade, and he's got to kill some Warrens or a pig or something to make this really worthwhile. But Tatanka's ready. He's been scouting well. He knows that Kaktus is on one base tier 1. He's got a turret down. He's got a lot of tier 1 of his own. Here's a big engagement. And these Toads are not getting any connections at all. Oofta. Tatanka holds, and Kaktus is now in a pretty rough spot. You know what I'd like to see from Kaktus in a situation like this? Is maybe just like throw down a Foxhorn and cross your fingers, right? Throw it down somewhere. Oh, see, you take this cabin. And then you throw the Foxhorn down there. You know what I'm saying? So then Tatanka probably won't scout it. You get some MGs. I think you gotta do something like a Hail Mary like that at this point. Kaktus is gonna try the follow-up attack, but I don't think this is gonna work. Let's see if you can get connections. Not really. Tip of the hat to Kaktus for trying the Toads, but yeah, right now Toads are not a meta unit. But Kaktus trying to make it work, so Kaktus with a couple black eyes right now. You know, two attacks from Kaktus here really haven't worked out. The first one wasn't as bad, looking at the graph, as I thought it was, but the real story here is that Tatanka's had the second base the whole time. Alright, Kaktus moving in. Let's see if we get some good Toad engagements. Those were actually really good. They hit the squirrels, they got a Warren, they got a turret. But great turret placement here from Tatanka, getting a ton of DPS in the back. Kaktus knows he's too far behind on the economy. And taps out, putting Tatanka 2-0 in the series. Yeah, it's really hard to attack in like this, especially against high-level players. I mean, you might get away with this in intermediate, or definitely in beginner, but you know, a guy like Tatanka really sees these attacks coming in, so I hope Kaktus can kind of wait until they get a little bit of an advantage somehow. But yeah, let's take a look what happens this game. Tatanka changing up the deck again, and Kaktus taking out the Fox for the Owl. Which actually would come in handy here if we get into the tier 3, which is kind of hilarious. Sometimes it just works out like that. For those of you who don't watch Tooth and Tail too often, or maybe it's been a while, remember that it's blind deck selection, right? So you go into the game, you don't know what your opponent's going to bring outside of any meta knowledge you have. You know, for example, some players are known to like certain units, like Lego Man likes snakes. I typically like to use the Fox. You know, Squirrel Cam Mole is the meta, so you can assume those kinds of stuff, but you don't know for sure. The Kaktus with a good kind of blind switch here into Owl. That would be what he would need if we get to the late game. And this map looks pretty good for Kaktus. 4 bases right here, 1 entrance. Tatanka's not totally down and out. He does have a natural. That's very easy to defend, but other than that, Tatanka's going to be really hard-pressed to take a third base. But Tatanka gonna go ahead and get into that expansion. So map advantage here for Kaktus for sure, but again, that only matters if we get to a longer game, right? I mean, it doesn't matter that Kaktus has 4 mills if the game ends on 2 bases. So that should be Tatanka's plan here. And you know what? I mean, for having the turrets in the ferret, this map gen's actually not too bad, because he's got these 2 mills here. Obviously a little too dangerous to throw pigs on, but would be good to stretch his tendrils out on the map a little bit farther, be able to throw down those turrets in siege. Kaktus thinking about coming in for a poke, but just going to back up for now. How's Kaktus on scouting info? Knows about second base. Hasn't got a farm count yet. Tatanka coming back in. Gonna see the second base. Gonna see 2 farms. That'll probably trigger Kaktus come home. Throw down 2 more at least. There it is. Probably gonna go for another farm here. Maybe we'll get a farm inning. I don't think we've seen 16 farms yet on the stream yet, have we? The games have been pretty scrappy. So yeah, we might actually have a nice macro game on our hands, which would put the game in a pretty interesting situation, because it would put Tatanka on a little bit of a timeline, a deadline to end the game, but he does have a couple nice forward mills to throw down some turrets on. He does have the ferrets. And Kaktus is kind of the protagonist here. You know, he needs to hold on and just wait it out. If Kaktus waits it out on this map, he wins. First owl on the way, a little bit risky. Kaktus is going to instead use that money to farm up on the second. Let's see if Tatanka might not see the owl. Does see the owl. Of course he does. He's Tatanka. Very good scouting path. And I don't think Kaktus has seen yet the additional farms. So Tatanka's going to go to his own owl. Maybe even number 2 here. Let's see. There it is. And Kaktus still hasn't been able to read that this base is fully saturated. So I think these build orders are advantageous for Tatanka at the moment. Kaktus will have a little bit of a window where he will have an owl and Tatanka won't. But Tatanka's got a bit extra income here. Tatanka will have both owls, and the owl is probably the most underwhelming tier 3, like, in the sense of how much it directly impacts the board right when the first one hits, you know. When the boar hits, it's going to go push. Same with the badger. You can do a lot of things with the wolf. You can sit back and really start ecoing up. You can push. The fox is just going to start poking you. The owl is going to start that process of getting value, trading mice for mines or squirrels, but it's not going to really drastically change the game. So I think Tatanka is going to be just fine in this little bit of a window where Kaktus has an owl and Tatanka doesn't. And Tatanka even going up to more and more owls here. Protecting the flank from turrets. So many turrets actually coming out for Tatanka. Turrets are great against owls if you have a critical number of them to where the mice can't kill them. Oh man, here we go. 5 owls. Come on, where's number 6? You got 180 bucks? No? Okay. Tatanka really settling in to buckle up here, but you know, even though I feel like Tatanka at this moment is in a little bit of a better spot, again, I mean, Kaktus just needs to hold. If Tatanka can't come in here and bust, then Kaktus will win this eventually. So let's see. Getting into some falcons. Now, that's another thing, too, is the falcons from Kaktus. Tatanka doesn't have that available. A couple ferrets would be nice for Tatanka, because I do think the MGs are pretty important components here. So be able to kind of, you know, poke forward with the ferrets, knock out those MGs, or at least maybe force Kaktus to try to do something about that. Kaktus starting to get into the Supreme Air Army here. Falcon Owl. Just going to move forward with a couple units. I don't think Kaktus should hard engage, though. It looks like he's going for it. He needs to back up to the safety of these turrets. I don't think he lost too much there, but here comes a big attack from Tatanka. And will these owls create enough mice on the red side to push this back? It looks so for the time being. The chameleons on the front line doing a good job tanking, but of course that is an expensive investment for Kaktus. Those chameleons will die, and that's 60 bucks each, so absolutely no tier 1 left over for Kaktus. I do think that's smart. I like this kind of hyper army that he's getting into. I think you need like the 4 or 5 owls before you just completely get rid of squirrels. But this might work. I think this is working for Kaktus. I'm kind of curious that Tatanka has so many squirrels right now. I mean, it's going to be hard to find tiles with all these mice everywhere. But let's see. I mean, hey, Mass Squirrel is very strong. And if Tatanka micros and tries to keep... Yeah, so he's keeping a lot of these squirrels alive. He's just having the mice come in, deal damage, and once the mice are depleted, retreat. But, again, now we're kind of... This is so weird. I did not think I was going to cast a game like this. I feel like this is not where the meta currently is. But I'm enjoying it. But again, I mean, we're stalemating a little bit here, and this is going to work for Kaktus. However, all the mice for Kaktus are gone. He's still got so many chameleons on the back, though. And the chameleons and mice are just going to chew through these squirrels from Tatanka. Kaktus can't really push further forward. I think he overextended there for a second, just slightly. Lost a couple extra tier 2. I mean, these turrets right here are a hard stop, but that's fine. Kaktus doesn't need to. Tatanka's the one that needs to end the game. And I think slowly but surely, this will be a victory here for Kaktus. Let's see. Now, Tatanka sneaks this mill. If Kaktus fails to scout that, I mean, if he does scout that, I think his Falcons might be in range to just take it out from the cliff. But that could give Tatanka the juice that he needs to stay in this. I don't think Kaktus has scouted in a little while. But yeah, Tatanka losing more and more squirrels here. If Kaktus can bust all these turrets, but the thing is, I mean, that's so risky. Kaktus really needs to wait till he has additional mice there. But again, Tatanka being sneaky on that third base. If Kaktus doesn't see that third base, then Tatanka might actually win this. This reminds me of games from like 4 years ago. Like, this was a thing a while back. Still preferable to the balloon wall meta, though. That was the worst time in Tooth and Tail history, I think. When balloons were just too good. And people would build like 10... Because the balloons will actually stalemate a game. Like, I kind of said stalemate facetiously earlier. I mean, somebody's going to give eventually here. But, like... both players get like 10 balloons. I mean... it's really not a lot you could do to deal with that. Maybe Mass Lizard or something, but even still, that's pretty tough. Okay, Kaktus does see this base, and the Falcons can't quite get it. That's okay, though. He could still pretty safely take that out if he just moves his commander down here. You know, rallies the Falcons, comes back home, rallies the Falcons back. But the important thing is that Kaktus is aware of that base now, which is knowing is half the battle. So many mice here. Tatanka finally overwhelming, though. Looks like Kaktus did tech out of the chameleons, and I guess those chameleons were really doing a lot of damage on the front lines. And the fact that Tatanka was able to get back in on that third base, and Kaktus wasn't able to shut that down immediately. I don't know, man. I still think I'd rather have Owl Falcon than Owl Squirrel. But the 2 extra owls here from Tatanka make it a lot easier to win the ground fight. Oh, these turrets are almost up here for Kaktus. That would be huge. Okay, they start coming up. But the mice are just going to chew right through them. And Kaktus taps out. Tatanka taking the series 3-0.